Good afternoon, Bloomington. It is Saturday at 11:30 a.m. You're listening to WIUX LP Bloomington, and this is Growing Pains, the show where we do a lot of cool things, including interviewing local and touring artists. I am joined today in the studio by a very special guest, someone who is here for just a moment with us and then is moving on to end out their tour. Poolblood, say hello.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me today.
Yes, of course. I'm so glad to have you. I want to apologize to the listeners if you were expecting an 11 show. Guess who forgot their key card? It was me. But we stopped by and got coffee, and we're caffeinated, and we're here. And we're going to talk about your music. So That's very exciting. If you wanted to introduce yourselves to the listeners who might not know who you are, what can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Maryam. I have a project called Poolblood. I'm from Toronto, Canada. And yesterday we played with Speedy Ortiz at the Bishop, which was really awesome. It's my first time in Bloomington, Indiana, and I'm really loving it. So thank you so much for having us, and thank you for having me and Speedy, and I'm so stoked to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Was at the show last night. It was a lot of fun. Speedy Ortiz is wonderful. I should have brought some of their music onto the show to play. No matter. The listeners, you can search for that on your own. But we're going to talk through some of Miriam's most recent project called Mole. And then I also have some songs off of Yummy that I thought would be fun to play as well. Okay, good. But, I mean, if we're going to just, I think, jump right into it and start playing from the top of the album. If you were giving an elevator pitch, though, about your music to someone who'd never heard it, how would you describe yourself?
I guess it would be really good, comfy tea time music. I think that's been something that's been kind of said to me a lot, and I think I didn't know that I was unconsciously making a warm cup of tea type music.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think that's kind of the type of music I make. It's folky, it's alternative. I feel like there's a little bit of everything for anyone on this record. So it kind of just encapsulates my love for music in all forms and any genre. So I think and this record is quite a record that's quite emotional. So it's a record for someone who is kind of going through the motions, but is going to be okay at the end of it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to kind of dive more into that. The first track, Heart? And then the second track, WFY?
Yes.
Just
WFY.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sometimes friends will be like Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, and it's kind of funny because it is kind of like a play on like also Wi-Fi, like the internet. But yeah. Either or works, kind of. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we will listen to both of those tracks. Everyone, Poolblood, get ready for this next hour of talking and chatting. I'm so excited. And enjoy this first piece of music.
Whoops. There we go.
All right. Those are the first two tracks off of Mole, your 2023 album. I think I'm really excited because we're playing a mix of songs from this and your EP, which is definitely a different sound. It's a little grittier, a little harder, while this I feel like is definitely more folk adjacent. I'm excited to hear kind of the range of Poolblood. But can you just tell me a little bit about your origins, like growing up in Toronto? What is your musical background?
Yeah, I feel like, thank you. Yeah, there's so much there's such a range, I guess, from the EP and then going into Mole. I kind of grew up listening to, I grew up in a religious household, and it wasn't in my household, music wasn't sort of it was really my parents were really ambivalent towards it, so I kind of was just always itching to sort of discover more music, and I've always had a little inclination, or there was an inclination as a young kid towards music and this affinity, so I moved around a lot, so a lot of the times when I was starting a new school, I would just join the choir as a way to sort of make friends and also feel like I had something to do. And so that kind of started my love for music. And and then in high school I started writing songs, and I picked up a guitar. I was learning how to play and writing at the same time, so it was quite simultaneous, which was really fun. I guess in terms of just the genre and the way that I think about music, I grew up, whatever I could hear or get my ears, or whatever was playing was sort of just an influence at that time. So a lot of the time it was I'd go into a grocery store or something, and it was top 40, and I'd be this is so cool and exciting, and I'd go to my cousin's house or my friend's house, and they would be playing stuff on the TV. There's this music channel in Canada called Much Music, which is our MTV essentially. We do have MTV Canada, but I guess Much Music is kind of also MTV Canada. And I would just be so obsessed with I remember I got a TV in my room, and I was sneakily listening to music and stuff, and I think also having access to the internet, just being able to surf and YouTube songs and stuff like that, or that also kind of helped me understand that not really think of music in a genre aspect, but more in like a feeling and like this like emotional connection I have to it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of how I also just approach my music too, is like that it's very like like it has to be sort of a body feeling, sort of mind soul connection kind of thing, which sounds really deep, but it's kind of, yeah, that's kind of how it like, that's kind of my ethos, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's cool. I feel like you can feel the range of influences, like you're not locked down to any one sound.
Totally.
And that's cool to have music originate from you and not from external influences. So that's neat. I'm curious, when you were learning to play the guitar and initially writing in high school, like what was that like? Where does that music sit with you now?
Yeah, I guess it was like very... When I was writing, I was kind of just like learning about my own voice. And I think I was trying to find, like in the beginning, I was like really obsessed with like, I think it was the same time that Taylor Swift's album Fearless came out when I was in. And so that did a number on me for sure. Yeah. So I had learned all the songs off that record, and it was so fun and quite easy to learn. So, that was like a great way for me to sort of understand chord progressions and like sort of like songwriting. And then I sort of from there like started to find like bands that I loved, like other emo bands and stuff like that, which became sort of an influence on me right now, and are still are an influence on my music right now. It was such a fun experience, learning guitar is so, it can be challenging in the beginning, but like once it's you land, you're just like, I can never let this thing go, kind of. So it was so great. And I remember in middle school I was playing violin for like a couple years, and I chose the violin in middle school because we didn't have the option to play guitar, and I was like, the violin is like kind of close to a guitar because it's strings, even though I'm using a bow, and there's only 4 strings, but still kind of close.
So you're just wishing to play a guitar.
Exactly. In retrospect, I don't know, now I'm kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, man, the violin is amazing. I love strings, and like they're the biggest thing. It's pretty. I mean, it's on most of the songs on this record. Sorry. It was fun learning and playing at this, learning guitar and also writing songs. At first it was kind of like a neat activity, and then it just became an utter obsession, I think.
That's how it goes. That made me think it's interesting how this going into the schooling system, it's interesting how in like middle school they introduce you to all these classical instruments, but I feel like most kids would gravitate towards traditional drums based guitar just based on the music they're listening to. I don't know, something to consider, schools.
For sure.
Teach your kids guitar. They could put out an album.
Exactly.
So.
Who doesn't want to recreate School of Rock?
Yes. Oh my God. We could get into that. Love School of Rock.
Absolutely.
The next song that I thought we could play is off of, so we heard some of Mole. I want us to hear some of Yummy. I have Here's Where the Story Ends.
Totally.
Any thoughts about this one, or?
So it's actually a cover by one of my favorite bands.
Really? I did not know that. Awesome.
So it's the original song is by the Sundays, and they're this British dream pop shoegaze band, kind of.
Nice.
And I just like love them, and Harriet is like one of my biggest influences, like my biggest like vocal influence, and she's just like a powerhouse vocally, and just also just like a great stage person. And and so when I was recording this EP, I was like, I would love to do like a little cover of this song. It'd be so exciting. And then my friend Shamir produced it, and he did a lot of the beats on this, and so it's so fun how it's kind of morphed, and how it took place, or like how it's being perceived now as my song. That is like huge and amazing. But it's all the Sundays. Shout out to the Sundays.
Shout out. I'm gonna have to check it out afterwards. This is Here's Where the Story Ends. Poolblood. Enjoy.
I can see how people look down.
Here's Where the Story Ends. So fun. Such a fun cover.
Thank you.
I'm interested, you mentioned Shamir, who, based on my little digging, has been a somewhat instrumental part of your music making.
Totally, yeah.
Tell me about him or your relationship to them.
Yeah, he's like literally my best friend and like one of the best people I've ever met in my entire life. You know, he's like one of those people who sees like, you know, a great he just has like such a great heart, and like he's triumphed like, or just been such a beacon to all of my creative sort of inclinations, and sort of has been such a sweet I love him so much. I'm just thinking about him right now, and we like literally talk every single day. But he produced Yummy, and like I remember we met over Twitter, and we started talking about music, and I like kind of went over to his place in like 2019 and hopped on a bus from Toronto for like a 10-hour ride, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's see what this is gonna be like. And and hung out with him for like a weekend, and we did Yummy in a weekend, which was like crazy and so fun. And I was like, you are like my musical soulmate. This is so fun. And it just came together so organically. And he has wonderful music too, and like it's just so great to you know, be friends with, and also be friends with him, but also like have him as sort of like a nice I don't want to say mentor, because mentor is like kind of a weird word, but like someone who he's just so like I can ask him anything, and he's just kind of will let me know, and just kind of I'll ask like some of the stupidest questions about music, and he'll just be like, no, you, and just like answer it, and like with no like he's great. I love him so much. And he also helped on make Mole, and so it's just been I've been really blessed, very blessed.
It's crazy how those people kind of fall into your life, and you have no idea how much they'll mean. But that's really cool, and the fact that he's gotten to be helpful across both projects and be an instrumental part of it. I'm curious, when you were like, so you took the 10-hour bus ride.
Yes.
You made Yummy. Did you, like, before that, have any inkling that you were going to make an EP? Were you, like, hoping and searching for someone, or did it?
It's so funny, like, I think even with Mole, too, and both Yummy, I just sort of was, like, making music and posting it on my Bandcamp at that time, and that was, like, around 2017 to 2018, and there was a lot of friends who were like sharing it, and I was playing a few shows with like my band from university, which was really fun. And so I was just writing here and there just for fun, and I sort of like, I think I began writing just to kind of find a medium to sort of release a lot of emotions that I was having, and I struggled a lot, I remember, with vulnerability, so it was sort of that medium for me to process my emotions, and so it was really nice how that kind of it kind of all happened really organically. I was posting it on Twitter and a lot of other socials, and then some friends of friends ended up showing Shamir, and then me and Shamir started talking, and then it kind of just kind of evolved from there, which is great. I've just been so grateful for everything that's happened so far, even with the Mole. Like, I wasn't really expecting anything from it, and it's just been so great to see just how receptive everyone has been towards it, and how much everyone has, like, I've heard some really great stuff about how people have said, like, you know, this record has helped me in certain ways, or just, like, how much they've connected with it. And I think ultimately that's kind of what I want, is just, like, human connection. And I think that's, and what other form, if not the greatest form of human connection, is music, I think. And art. So,
Well, that's so cool. I always love hearing, like, people, you know, I've had artists come on, but it's always like they're excited talking about the music. They're most excited talking about the people that they made it with, I think.
Totally.
So it's really cool to hear. I wanted to play next up Shabby off of Mole. This is probably one of my favorite songs off the record. Any preliminary thoughts about this one?
It's so funny. This run I love it. It's a lot of people have told me it's their fave too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, this song I recorded after watching Garden State, actually, or I wrote it after watching Garden State, which is that movie with I think Zach something. I forgot his name.
Galifianakis?
Not
No.
Galifianakis. Very close. Actually, that was the name that came up. We love Zach Galifianakis here. Clearly.
Yes, clearly.
I forgot his name. He was. His name is Zach, but it was just like a really fun movie. But there's a song on there on the soundtrack by the Shins, and I love the Shins a lot. It just kind of, I remember just like watching that and then writing this song. And my best friend Drew is sort of plays on this song, and he's kind of the person on the end with the voice note. And so,
nice.
yeah, it's a little, I think it's very much an homage, to my friendship with him and sort of my friendship with friendships. So it's, yeah, and I was kind of nervous sort of putting the song on the record, and I'm really happy that I put this on the record. It's,
yes. Yeah, especially if it's people's favorites. No, it's really beautiful. Let's just get into it.
Totally.
Shabby, Poolblood, enjoy. Agreed. That was Shabby. Beautiful song. Maybe you all can see why that's my favorite. I'm curious, so you, just to like put us in time and place, you started making music, started posting stuff around 2017 on Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy came out in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you and where were you in life? Were you in school then?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I was in school. I was like 22 or 23, 24 when I recorded it.
Okay.
And yeah, it came out when I was like 23, 24. The timeline is so weird. All I remember is it came out right before the pandemic. And so I was like, it was in November of 2019, and the pandemic happened in March.
Yeah.
And I was like really stoked to maybe like do some shows or performances and stuff. Yeah. And so then when that happened, I was like, okay, I guess like now it's time to just get right into the next record. And I was like definitely in a place in my life where 24 is so interesting because it's also kind of feels like you're 17 in a weird way. Like it's like a turn of like a lot of turn of events are happening, or it's like a turn, and you're like getting into your mid-20s, like you're just starting to realize a lot about yourself and about you, like who the people who are around you. I think I was going through a pretty rough sort of friend breakup at that time that basically Mole is sort of the themes about the songs are just about that on Mole. And so I just it kind of was, again, it was very organic the way like the writing process happened, and it was all just like, it kind of came together very, it was really streamlined in that way. Yeah. And, and I just like, I think at that time I was excited about the EP and like sort of putting out my first sort of release and just having people hear like my music and stuff like that. And then I was like digging deeper, and I was like, I think like I love music that I love songs, and I love like breakup songs and stuff like that. But I think there wasn't sort of music that was about like friend breakups, and I was just kind of like, where can I? And like I feel like these songs are quite. You can put them in any realm of like any sort of breakup, but definitely. I think I was very intentional in saying that it is about a friend breakup because it's hard to like find songs where you're just kind of like, and I feel like it's more heartbreaking than romantic breakups because friend breakups are just so like, you just never expect them, or even the way they happen is really just like, it's, so that like, I wanted this record to like sort of, be in that space and sort of have people like know that it's about that.
Well, I definitely got that, I think, from listening to the record. Also, there's a lot of like common imagery I feel like you use, like sitting on a couch and going out and like wandering, and so it definitely feels like within this world of like where you're experiencing these emotions about said breakup. But well, cool to know a little bit more about just kind of the setting of Mole and the fact that you started writing it pretty soon after Yummy came out. I forgot. Every time I'm like, what was happening in 2019, 2020? Oh, right. Like
the biggest, craziest thing.
The pandemic. I would love to hear more of that in Twinkie, which is the 4th track off of Mole.
Totally.
Any thoughts, or should we?
I this was like the funnest, craziest song. Oh, it wasn't the craziest, but it's definitely one of my favorites on this record, and it was so fun to write. And I love my friends who played on this. Shamir plays on this. My friend Grant plays on this. He wrote one of the most incredible bass lines that I've just been so obsessed with ever since. And it's just a great, fun song.
Yeah. All right. Everyone, Twinkie by Poolblood. Enjoy.
For it to
That was, sorry, we were talking about podcasts. That was Twinkie off of Mole. An awesome song. We're about halfway through the show. We've been keeping good pace. Just a reminder, you're listening to Poolblood on WIUX, LP Bloomington. Before they jet off to Kentucky, Louisville, and then back to Toronto. So, yes, once again, reinforcing, glad to have you here in this
so much.
In this short time. I am curious just to hear a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more about Mole and its reception. I am curious just now, though, like, how's tour been? It's 10 days, right? And you're almost at the end, but what's that been like?
Yeah, it's been really fun. So we're on tour with Speedy Ortiz right now,
Yes,
so it's been
shout out.
so fun. Shout out. And they've just been the best. They've become great pals, and we've just had... we've been like hanging out after shows every night. We saw Bottoms together a couple nights ago. That was really fun in Chicago. It's just been a blast. It's my first sort of opening a major tour, and I've learned so much.
What's a lesson?
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot about just also sound on stage and stuff like that too. Yeah. And so that's been like a really big thing. Speedy's sound person, Ron, has been such a great person to just go to and ask questions to, and he's been super helpful. Learning about like my limits on tour too has been yeah, that's been interesting, but ultimately I love my band, and like we're great friends, and we've played a lot of shows together too in Toronto as well, and it's been great to just have people who I love and who like also understand, like, you know, sort of. Yeah, we've been really organized, which has been great. Like, Alex is, like, really great at just sort of, like, making sure we're on time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's great. You need that one friend.
Yes.
Or that one bandmate, so it's great. But it's been good. I woke up this morning, and I was quite sad because tonight is our last show, and we head back home, and I kind of don't want it to end. And, it's just been a blast, honestly. And it's kind of sweet because it's been like, 10 days, and it's hitting the very sweet spot where you're super excited and you think you can go on, but you definitely know you need to go home. But you're like, I could do like maybe like another week. I could, but then you're like, maybe not.
But I mean, the choice has been made for you.
Definitely.
But you've had a great... That's awesome that you're ending on a high note. You started on a high note.
Totally.
I imagine, though, it gets exhausting after a long time.
Oh, big time.
So
You're, like, I think the big thing is also, you're just kind of like waking up really early to make sure you're getting in the car at the right time. Not always eating the best type of food. We're always just kind of being like, we need veggies, like we need veg, and like, but then we like saw Calvers and it's Calvers,
Culver's?
Yeah. Okay, sweet, yeah. And we were like, we have to try this. Like, this is like a Midwest staple. So
obviously,
yeah, and it was great. Yeah, the Butterburger, incredible invention.
Ooh,
oh my god, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure there will be veggies waiting for you at
Totally.
home. But when are you gonna get Culver's again?
Exactly.
You don't know. So
I don't know. Yeah.
That's super exciting. And I hope this last show tonight goes amazing.
Thank you.
That's an exciting way to end tour. But about your band, when did you assemble those people together, and how long have you been playing with them?
So they're my touring band. So they're my pals from Toronto, and they're in a great band in Toronto called Wesleyan, and it's like a country band. But I've known them for a year now, maybe, and they also were. They opened for my release show in Toronto earlier this year, which was really fun.
Oh, cool.
And just like the sweetest boys, and they're just angels, and I love them and cherish them. They're my touring band, so it was just really great to like kind of reach out and be like, hey, I'm doing this tour. Would you guys like to join and like see the Midwest with me, essentially? They were like, we're down. The Midwest is awesome.
Yeah, what a proposal.
Yeah.
That's super fun. Did you, and I felt like you all had a very warm, there's a very warm environment on the stage. You seemed all to get along very well and enjoy each other's company. So,
Totally.
which is a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
When you were starting to play your music live for the first time, I mean, just how do you feel about taking your recorded music and translating it into a live setting? I feel like Mole especially is very cozy, it's very intimate record. So yeah.
It's so funny because being on this tour with Speedy, who's a very fast-paced, like really fun band, I'm always like, oh man, I'm like putting everyone to sleep, and then Speedy comes on is like waking everyone up, which is kind of funny. And so like trying to translate it on stage has been quite I think in the beginning it was a bit tricky, but now I think I'm almost finding my landing on things that I like and things that I like want to sort of have. Definitely helps that Lucas, who's in my band, who plays piano, has sort of just translated a lot of the orchestral stuff onto piano, and that's been very beautiful to hear live every night. I think it's nice. Everyone has been very sweet about like our sets, and it's interesting. I'm so used to like sitting down and like having everyone like sort of in a circle, and for my shows in Toronto, and and like I think like being on this tour has been, it's kind of fun. We have like it's this dynamic of like like hot and cold, and it's just fun to see, like, I think the lineup is awesome because, like, you get to see two really different acts, but are kind of similar in a certain way. Yeah. And Sadie's been so sweet, and she's talked about how much she loves this record, which kind of blows my mind because it's, like, Speedy Ortiz is such a great band, and they're awesome and so big, and so it's been so cool to have her say such kind words about it every night, and I also found out recently that she is a Cancer and I'm a Cancer, and she's also a Sagittarius rising, and I'm also a Sagittarius rising. So
you all are like in many ways.
It's crazy. So I think this tour was quite meant to be. I think it was definitely in the stars. So
that's awesome. I think it's cool it made sense to me to have you both there, even if the sound is different. I think it's like you guys are good companions for each other.
Totally. So, yeah. It's like the nice, like, it feels like a really great, like, it's just like a perfect first tour for sure, and just like a perfect bill, I think, every night. Yeah. Yeah, and we've had really great opening acts, or local acts that have been on yesterday in Indiana, we're currently still in Indiana, and I'm like, what day is it? Where am I? Brenda's Friend, and they blew my mind, and they're incredible. Honestly so incredible, and I was like instantly a fan. I was just like, this is like the best band that has ever existed.
Shout out Brenda's Friend. Definitely Bloomington institutions. They're awesome. Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, good to hear that. I mean, I was hoping tour is going on. It sounds like it is. That's awesome. I would love to hear a little bit more about that. I do have a couple more of your songs that I'm dying to play, so I feel like we should. I have Noel on off of Mole. You were saying this one is a little bit slower, a little bit sadder.
Yeah, I think this one, in my opinion, is the saddest one, I guess. I guess it's not sad in terms of, like, now. I think it's, like, actually quite, it's funny sometimes, like, the way, I guess just, like, how life works. Sometimes you'll be really sad about something ending, but really it's just, like, a redirection in life. And, like, it's like, I think the more healthier and grown-up way now that I'm thinking about it, of looking at things, and sometimes you can be bummed about things ending, but again, it's just like a nice redirection and a nice, like, way to sort of get you, like, closer to where you're actually supposed to be and closer to your core in a way. And so I think all, like, in terms of, like, this song, it's very much like a dialogue between sort of two people who it's about to end, and they're sort of just at the end of it, but it's like, I think it's like right in the heat of it, but now thinking back to it, it's like knowing that like, yeah, it's just like another way to sort of understand yourself, because I think we learn from each other through these moments and get like, all connection is just kind of getting closer to yourself too as well. So but yeah, again, this is a quite, I guess, maybe a heavier song, and so if you're having lunch right now, maybe on like
like take a walk,
like
sit outside. Awesome. This is Noel, Poolblood. Enjoy. All right. That was Noel. Emotion check. How are we feeling?
We are feeling, is it bad to say good?
No.
No. Okay.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good too.
Okay.
I'm like in a better mood. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of like put me in a good mood.
Amazing. So that was Noel. I think we're gonna listen up next to Sorry off of Mole, which is cool. I have 2 iterations of it that we could play, one off of Yummy and one off of Mole, but we're gonna do the one that's truest to you now. I'm curious though, Mole, I feel from what I've seen, very positive reception. You got longlisted for what was the awards? It's the Canadian.
It's like a Canadian sort of, music award. It was longlisted for, the Polaris Music Prize, which is really awesome. And I didn't expect. I was longlisted with like Andy Schaaf, and like Daniel Caesar and like Always, and
Yes.
I just was like, this is crazy because I love these bands and these people. So
Yeah.
it's just, I was really shocked. Yeah, I was in awe, and that kind of was really cool to see, and I was like, man, that's yeah, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest, since being out of school and doing music more, what's been like the biggest change, I guess, you've noticed over time? And
Yeah.
I don't know if that means attention or your view on your music or shows, like just, but what's been the change over the years as you've grown?
Yeah, I think the biggest change for me is like, I think I so I'm a people pleaser. And so I
Sure.
think like I've learned sort of recently, or like even in the last few years, how to sort of like maybe shed from that sort of, identity, or just kind of like those impulses
Yeah.
of like just, wanting to make sure like everyone around me is good before I'm good. And I've learned a lot from that after recording and just like performing and sort of starting to get closer to who I am and myself and my core.
Yeah.
And that's been like the best like healing process, I think, so far, has been just like just realizing my own autonomy and sort of speaking about that on my records and stuff like that. And I think that's, and also just like, making so many friends. Like on this tour, we've made so many new friends, which has been so great and fun. And like getting to talk to people about music every day and playing music every night is just like such a dream. And I, it's one of those things, especially when I was younger, I didn't think it would be attainable, and I also never saw really anyone who looked like me doing music and playing the music I play. And so being sort of in this space now and getting to do it has been sort of just like every day I wake up and I'm like, whoa, I get to do this is really awesome. And like all my friends growing up, we would talk about making music and all that stuff, but we'd always talk about it as like some sort of like thing that like just like in another realm, or if it's in a perfect world and stuff. And well, I'm making the perfect world now, so so it's just been a blast. And it's been so, I'm like so grateful for everyone who's listened to this record and everyone who's sort of felt something, and anyone who's like all the kind words I've received. And it's been nice to, it's like, just like nice to think about the person I was when I was writing and making this record, and knowing that, there's so much to come and there's so much to look forward to. And it's healing. It's great.
Yeah. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see your dreams come true. Very cool.
Right.
Right. Yes, I would love to play Sorry, and I think this is another in that same vein of, doing what you love, taking something and making it more true to you and pursuing that ultimate end goal. So any thoughts, though, about this song? Because there's more iterations, you've told me, than just the two that are available.
Yeah. So the original song is on this little tiny EP that I put out like right before Yummy, and it was called I Wish I Was in a Punk Rock Band. And
epic title.
Which was very true at the time. It's just like this nice little voice note recording.
Okay.
Then that iteration goes from that to the one on Yummy, which is like a more full band, and there's like more shoegaze like kind of influences on that sort of version.
Yeah.
And then the new version on the record, because it had to be done again.
Yes.
Why not do it 3 times? It's
a staple at this point.
Exactly. Maybe there's gonna be a 4th one. Who knows? At this point.
That'd be amazing.
Put it on every record. The new version, the one that's on Mole, is more of a slower, eerier, sort of meditative kind of version. And it has all these great things that I love, like flute and cello. And the pattern was sort of my friend sort of started that pattern for this iteration, and my friend Louis Short, and who produced the record. This iteration is more close to home because it's sort of just like more of the vibe that I wanted this record to have, and there's just like so much fun stuff, and we were playing around with dissonance, and I found my love for dissonance in that way, and it sits really well with the emotions and sort of the mood and the theme of the song as well too. So yeah. It's great.
It is great. We're gonna take a listen, and just know if you want to hear that earlier version, it's out there, but we're gonna bask in Sorry as it was in Mole right now. Enjoy.
Sorry I was upset to you. I'm sorry I got all tangled up myself, and you're no one to fool, 'cause you did this too. Sorry I didn't come to visit you, 'cause I know, 'cause I've been there before. Were you scared? 'Cause I was. Did you come back at all? The emptiness will go away. Sorry I didn't come to visit you, 'cause I seen it all.
Sorry about that.
And we almost got a little tease of the other I'm sorry. Cool. Well, we're at an hour right now. This time has flown by. I'm
having a blast.
I'm very glad that you could join me today on Growing Pains. I think we'll play this interview out with the final track on Mole, which is My Little Room.
Awesome.
But do you have any last thoughts, anything that I didn't ask you about that you're just dying to say?
I'm dying to say how much fun I've had on this
Yes.
radio show. It's been such a blast talking to you.
Yes.
In between the songs, we were just getting into little conversations, which was great. We just wrapped up a little astrology talk right now. So
Yes.
it's been fun. Yeah. I'm just really thankful to anyone who's out there listening right now, and anyone who's like come to the shows, and anyone who's bought the record, has streamed it. Thank you so much for just listening. It means a lot, and I hope if anyone is in the Louisville, Kentucky area tonight, you can come see us play the Whirling Tiger.
Yes.
We're really stoked with Speedy Ortiz. And it's been a blast. Thank you so much. This is incredible.
Of course. No, happy to send you off on your last big adventure at the show tonight. Yes, if you're in Louisville, you know what to be doing tonight.
I said it right. Louisville, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
sweet.
was perfect. Just like a native Kentucky.
Hell yeah. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
So we're going to end with My Little Room. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
This one...
It's big.
It's big.
It's a big closer.
It's a big closer. Yeah. This is my favorite song on the record for sure.
Awesome.
I said that about Twinkie, but this one is also just it was so fun
Yeah.
to make. And it came about really fast. And I think my friend Christian Lee Hudson plays guitar on this, and he did a phenomenal job and sort of put this song into a different realm when we got his parts. And it's a nice little sleepy time song. Yeah, it puts you to sleep, and it was so fun writing the song. Yeah, I really love it, and I hope everyone else who's listening enjoys it.
Yes, I hope the listeners enjoy. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been a special edition of Growing Pains. I'll actually be back next Saturday interviewing the Muncie band Northwest around 2 p.m. So I'll post about that, but that's exciting. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturdays. We're going to end this interview with My Little Room, and I will see you all next week. Bye, Poolblood.
Bye.
Bye, Maryam.
Bye.
Time is an illusion, keeping me in place, best kept under my skin. Oh, his briefcase, and I am tired, singing to the same lonely old, screaming on cold. Every time I mess up, and if it works out, and I end up in somehow, I'll be thankful for this time alone. In my little I've been waiting a quarter of a century, and now I'm living in a memory, prone to pathetic